Hello and welcome to another fun live stream where I'm going to be making some models this time. Celtic Warriors from Warlord Games. As we see on the box here, these two are some examples, and they're actually 1-to-1 scale with the ones in the box because they're actual models from the box. These are the ones I painted last time. Assembled. These are the ones that I assembled last time. So I got this guy swinging a sword over his shield, and this guy with the kind of boar banner, pig on a stick. I don't know what that's called. Battle standard of some description. He's a happy looking chap. Anyway, we've got plenty more where they came from. In fact, plenty more where they came from. Because this box comes with 40 of them, which is quite a few. And I'm just going to make sure I put one sprue aside because that is going up north at some point. And then we have, this is the command sprue, so it's got the fancy stuff on it. Some kind of horn. Just a really fancy bugle. There's also a bird on the sprue, which is nice, and some severed heads because why not? But let's finish off this sprue because we have 2 more models to make. So I'm just going to get stuck in, and we'll see how much I can get done before anyone shows up to the stream. I have wondered occasionally how many people actually come back and watch the stream after the fact, because that's something I quite like to do. And so if you are watching this on as a video after the fact, let me know in the comments below. Until then, I'll just get on and assemble these chaps. And of course, mold lines first. Plenty of mold lines to deal with. Let's just move my microphone slightly. So while these are, of course, pretty much the cheapest models I've ever had, that doesn't mean that the moulding is also a little cheaper. They're actually not that bad. I've had worse quality models. I've had quite a few models that are worse quality than this. But yeah, you do have to deal with mold lines which are noticeable. They're not too bad, but they are noticeable. I always wondered, is that meant to be the chin? That's something I don't necessarily prefer about these particular models. Is that on the kind of the torso piece, you have the throat, but not the jaw. And then on the head, on the heads there, they do have the chin, but like all of the neck is just gone, kind of hollow underneath. I guess it's not a big deal. There's this one. That one song that kind of just suddenly goes quiet in the middle of the track. Yeah, again, just... The thing is, the mold lines are placed fairly well. They're across smooth surfaces so that you can fairly easily scrape them back. How do I get into that? Bit of leftover sprue and a fairly good job of cleaning that one up. Two torsos ready to go. Let's get the legs ready. Oh, one easy thing. Just clean the bottom of there so they sit flat on the table. I haven't fully decided what I'm doing with the pudding bases. Given that these, so long as they're standing upright, these are fairly well balanced and they don't immediately fall over all the time. The pudding bases are enough, but I'm tempted to transfer some over to a like a multi-base, like a unit of I don't know, 5s maybe. Have some loose and then some on a shared base. But I haven't decided. I haven't fully worked that one out. It depends on what games that these end up being used for and how I want them to look on the shelf. That's kind of the two considerations there. See, the first game I got these for, kind of the reason why I bought them in the first place, was for Warlords of Erewhon, which is a kind of high fantasy version of bolt action rules. So you have that the order dice, the random kind of selection of who goes next, alternate activation goes one unit at a time, and then high fantasy stuff, so swords and dragons and magic. Seems like a pretty fun game, and I'll probably end up playing a few games of it at least. Is this supposed to be... because that doesn't really look right at all. It's almost like it's supposed to attach like that. Is he supposed to be leaning forward quite so much? That's interesting. Let's check one of the other sprues. Are any of these... yeah. There's some that are kind of more upright. This is more upright, and then some of them are like leaning over because they're lunging forwards or running forwards. Is that a massive problem? Can I get around it? I mean, with enough milliput, anything's possible. That does look kind of funny though. Kind of rugby scrum, leaning forwards kind of pose. I think what I might be able to do, if I just cut a wedge like that, and turn that around. Oh yeah, that's improved things. Basically what I did is just cut the... let's get a close up. So it was originally this way around, and this is the surface that you would glue to the legs, so it's kind of leaning forwards like that. But by rotating it around, it is now, well, it's the same surface, but it's now at the back there, so it's much more upright. So let's put some more poly cement on this. Hopefully just enough that it squeezes out. There we go. Because that will then, instead of being a hard line, that will then look like the just another fold in the clothes. There we go. We've certainly got that energetic power squat going on. Am I off the bottom of my camera? I think I am. I shall move the camera in a moment. Let's see if that's better. Right, let's put this guy aside for a couple of moments. Maybe some of that poly cement's dribbled onto the belt. Not sure if that helped entirely, but close enough. Let's pop him aside. Let's clean up some more lines on the other one's leg. Although some of the mold lines on this run across nice big smooth open surfaces like on the side of the calf here, you can't see that in the slightest. Where am I focused to? There we go. So the mold line here over a nice big flat surface, easy to deal with, easy to scrape away, not going to be a problem. That same mold line just a few millimeters away up here, right there, has all of the wrinkles and folds of that piece of clothing, and that is much harder to deal with. Kind of have to go for every single fold individually with the. I'm just using kind of the corner of the back of the knife to go into these small areas, but I think that's got it. That should come out nicely when it's primed and painted. Kind of got the same thing going on here. It's nice, fairly smooth on the thigh, and then once we get kind of to the knee and below, it's particularly inside the back of the knee, very, very wrinkly. There we go. I keep wandering out of focus. Nicely. Just run across that mold line on the base, although that's not even remotely an issue because that will be covered by whatever texture paste, so it having a texture, a line, doesn't matter. I was like, why isn't this sitting flat? It's because it's got a lump of sprue right there. Right. So this chap can go in like that. That's fine. Then we shall decide the heads. There's also maybe a little too much poly cement, but there we go. I think this one, this first one, I think we can do away with the shield. That poses quite kind of that left fist. It's fine to not need a shield, but this guy kind of holding that hand out. Pretty sure that's a shield pose. Conveniently, I have one shield left, which is the exact correct amount. But heads first. So we've got this one with the helmet, and we've got excuse me. Oops. Kind of like in this one. Yeah. Yeah, how's that? I think that's the right one for that. Continuing on with more mold line and sprue removal. Sprue removal. Respruval? Sprumoval. No. I thought I could portmanteau that, but perhaps not. Definitely got some hair to deal with. Same as some of the clothing, we've got a mold line that's running kind of across the detail rather than down the detail, which is suboptimal. Again, just trying to run the blunt back corner of the knife through the hair. Which one were we giving this to? I think it was this guy. Yeah. we go. That model has some attitude, doesn't it? Yeah, some more mold lines that need cleaning up. That's easy. I'll do that when the poly cement has settled. Kind of in comparison to the one I made last time, if I don't drop it, that is. There we go. He forgot to bring his shield, but that's fine. Cool. So now let's find a face for this guy, who will probably get a shield. Helmet but no shirt. Perhaps not. How's that one? Not convinced by that one either. Ah, yes. I think that's the one. Always very difficult holding on to heads. Generally speaking, it's not always the case, but it is fairly common that the smallest part you get in a model kit is the head. I actually have another kit on the way, and looking at the photographs of the sprue on the website, it's a very interesting and kind of different way that they've done it. In the case of that sprue, it was the legs, torso and head were all one piece, so you got separate arms, so you could equip the models differently. But then, even though the head was part of the kind of this one big chunk of the model, the helmet was separate. These World War II British soldiers by Perry Miniatures, if you want to look them up. The 8th Desert Rats, I think. Don't know. I haven't researched them yet. I'll have to check on things before I finish off. Yeah, there we go. But it's just interesting that in that case the head was kind of up to the brow. Is solid head, and then the helmet is separate. Oh, make sure I get it on right. Does this guy need a shield? Does he need a shield or a knife? Ah. Well, that's disappointing. And that is a knife in a sheath and it's only sculpted on one side. Yeah. Those two knives, both of them, have some detail on this side, but on the other side, they're rounded. They're kind of hollowed, slightly hollowed out, slightly concave, so that they're easier to glue to a model, which, yes, I get that. It's convenient for that particular thing. I wanted to do them different now. I wanted to have this guy holding a knife in his other hand. And that sword, actually none of these swords have particularly strong detail. We're not talking about fullers and profile tapers and all that kind of stuff. I know some sword fighters. Well, I know some reenactors who do steel sword training, and they refer to this kind of thing as an iron bar. There's surprisingly little left on the sprue. There's a few more heads, but we will be using those at some point, and just kind of the spears and this stuff. I think I will actually use that dagger. I'll just glue it to his belt, just for fun. What does he look like with the shield? His hand doesn't quite fit in the shield. I mean, if we put it like that, we could put it outwards a bit. We could even put it kind of completely backwards. Can actually get the shield to stay in his hands. Yeah, I think we'll go without a shield for this one. This is a very small part to glue. That'll do it. That'll stick. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that I don't want to give him a shield. What were the other shields? There are 5 shields on the sprue of various sizes and shapes. There's that one with spears, and that's for 10 models, so about half get shields. You know, actually, that thinner shield, you can't quite see what it looks like. I think I'm going for the thinner shield. Just checking to make sure this is the right sprue. This is the command sprue. One conversion I do want to make with these, which is going to be a little bit logistically difficult to do on stream. Yeah, I think that's the right call. is to make a slinger, or to make a couple of slingers. It's logistically difficult because milliput and gloves and pressing buttons on camera and typing are not necessarily easy to do at the same time. There we go. Yeah, that'll settle. That'll be the right way of doing that. Okay. So that is the 4 that were left over on the half sprue that I had complete. Meaning that this sprue just has the heads and kind of the spears and shield left. And so we can move on. Actually do the command sprue. Now I notice here, I mentioned this right at the beginning, this kind of, I'm not sure what you'd call it. I think a horn is probably the nearest thing to a word that I can come up with for this. So what kind of... I mean, it's really only this one. Oh, these two. Because these are all holding... Like, some of the hands here are open to put spears and the banners in. Whereas a lot of them are closed fists. But these two are holding them like flat, like horizontal, and it's only these two that are holding them upright, kind of vertical. So I think we'll have to use these for that stuff. Does he go with? So we want one with kind of no tunic. This one. Oh, one of these. That would be good, but that's got the tunic. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. That one. Snip, snip. Snip. Get the spring marks off the bottom first so that it sits flat, and then all of the other connection points and mold lines. This one is not so bad for mold lines actually. Is this the same one as this one? No, it's, oh, of course it's not, because this has got the open hand. It is similar, which is unsurprisingly, seeing as they're in the same set. It's a pretty nasty connection point there, actually. I think I've pretty much smoothed it out. According to my stats behind the scenes on YouTube there, it says that no one is watching, but it often does that, even when there are people watching. So if you are watching, which there may be no one, say hello. Because otherwise I am just talking. Which, to be fair, I do anyway, so that's not really that novel. This one has an odd shape at the back of kind of the top of the hip. Just making it difficult to know exactly which way round this is supposed to be. I think like that. That is slightly awkward. Let's bring out the flute, the trumpet, battle horn, war horn, the instrument. was surprisingly good for mold lines, actually. I keep talking about mold lines just because I'm going to spend most of this stream cleaning mold lines, but it's not actually all that bad. I think. Something like that, perhaps? Yes. Free glue the waste. We can have a better idea of what it's going to end up looking like. Or at least, hopefully. There's kind of a textured section, like a wrap, in the sense that he's holding onto it there. In front like that, or do we twist it so that it's kind of pointing behind him? More like that. I think that is the way we go. Give that a minute to settle with the poly cement, and let's just finish up this mold line. Oh, that was it. Easy. Oh, we also need to pick a head, don't we? I think pointed backwards makes... because sideways just makes it look like it's weirdly molded in one piece, which it isn't even in one piece, but like that has less of that effect. Let's try it at least. Like, oh no, I've just ruined my like 47 pence model. Yeah, that is how it is. Let's go for, where's that sprue? There it is. Heads. What head? Why did we give the other kind of just open head, no helmet? Yeah, that one looks alright. Kind of like that one. That one. I think these two are nearly the same. Ah, a shouting one. I think the shouting one actually does look better on this. So let's have snip the shouty one. And let's clean up all the mold lines off of the hair. That is one of the advantages of the bolt action models, and I guess any model that's wearing a helmet, is you don't have to deal with mold lines running through hair. Sometimes you can kind of run the knife along the mold line and it kind of bounces in and out of the contours, but sometimes you just have to run the back of the knife through every single one. Where's my folk orange? There. So I'm not sure if that's a mold line or an ear. Well, it's an ear now. And I have a flickering light, which is quite annoying. There we go. So these two are my... Oh, get them on screen. Did I use the same head for both of these? I think... I don't think it's the same head. No, it isn't. Some of the hair is in different ways. They just... Two heads just happen to look very similar. There's a lot of that on this sprue, which is kind of a forgivable thing given how, as I keep mentioning, this is the cheapest model, kind of cost per model of any set I've ever had. So what are we at? We're at 5 now, which means I've done 3 so far in the stream, and it's just about 8 o'clock. So what have we got? Heads and shield left on that. Let's take another one from here. I do need to still work out what that bird is for. Because from get it so you can actually see it. That's the horn that I just did. This is the... Pretty sure that is the pig banner standard that I used. But I don't see anywhere where that bird is being used. Interesting. Interesting. Just wondering, is there a place on one of the banners where it has a peg that goes with the recess on the bird, or maybe I just use that bird for some terrain or some basing at some point. Or maybe I make it up as a whole model of its own, just a really, really tiny one. You know what? That actually sounds like fun. I might do that. Yeah, I might do that. I might just do that. Anyway, what I'm supposed to be doing for now is making up some Celts. Let's go for one of the chainmail ones, given we haven't done chainmail yet. And what legs have we got? This one. Yeah. And the other chainmail one is this one here. Yeah, it's kind of got running vibes. Now we see how difficult it is to clean mold lines off of chainmail. So I was about to say that was one of the worst bits of mold line, but I mean it was one of the worst bits of mold lines in this kit, but because there's absolutely no mold slippage, it's fine and it cleans up. Yeah, it just cleans up. Just like anything else. Yeah, but over the chainmail, yeah, not as good. Not as good there. Just because of the detail. It could have been better suited being a separate piece. I realise the scabbard that's on this model doesn't have a handle, which means he should have a sword in his hand. Although that is something we can probably ignore. Get around some other way. It's fine. It's not an issue. What we'll do, however, just because it makes for some interesting modelling opportunities later. It's a little tuft of what I assume is grass. There we go. Separate that out so we can actually have the foot separate from the floor. There we go. Yeah, it just makes it look more interesting than having that kind of lump of not quite grass in the way. Nice, it's included, but optional. See, for these, because they're kind of under the arm, I'm not sure whether a mold line or a flat is better. I think a flat is probably better. But there's no way I'm going to be able to pick out the mold line from the chainmail detail. Not without, I mean, basically not without sculpting in the chainmail all over again. It's interesting, the mold line actually jumped all the way from finger to thumb there. It's not a complete ring, or it's not intended to be. But again, there's no mold slippage, so it just cleans off really easy. Yep, and then let's find us a spear for this chap. Oh, a head. I don't think he needs a shield with a spear. I think I'll keep it sword and shield and then spear without shield. Oops. How twisted do we want there? Yeah, that's about right. I want to keep it so that the hand ends up being level, otherwise he'll be kind of angling the spear down into the ground. I guess that's not unreasonable, actually. We probably don't need to worry about that. Spear. Actually, the spearheads do have some differences. We've got a kind of napped flint spearhead. I think I'm going for that just because it looks cool. Crap. I did a terrible job of separating that from the sprue. Right, where's the mold line? There you are. Right. Where's the mold line? There you are. That cleans up nice. I don't know why I keep saying it. I guess it's just because this is such a cheap model set. I'm surprised that it is so. Like the mold lines, it's almost like I expect the mold lines to be bad because it's cheap, which, I mean, there is an element of that. But yeah, it doesn't affect this model. Yeah, so it'll be that kind of angle. That's alright. Do I put the spearhead flat or upright? I think upright. I think upright. Some poly cement on there and just roll it back into the hand. And hope that reduces a little bit as it evaporates. Right, time for head. We need to get a head. Given that this guy's got the spear, this guy's got the chainmail, makes sense that he has the bigger helmet as well. He's obviously a little kind of well off in comparison to the others. Looks after his equipment probably. And once again, I've done a terrible job of cleaning off, cutting away the sprue. I'm not sure if anyone can hear the banging in the background. It seems to be the neighbours doing something DIY related. Could be anything. This is a very Roman-esque helmet. Maybe it's just the era, or maybe this is a captured helmet. I'm not actually sure. I have not looked into the history of this type of thing. Yeah, that chap looks it. Spot on. Guess I'll have to use all of the other running legs with my spearman from now on. Let's get another one. Let's get another spear on the way. This chap's got a spear. Some badly cut. Sprue attachment points. I can easily clean up my mistakes there. There we go. I want to be tearing the plastic away instead of cleaning up the mold lines. This stream is basically just 2 hours of me cleaning mold lines. Oh, where'd I put the legs? Did I cut the legs away yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did not cut away the legs yet. So I think this one has the tunic. It does. And we were going for running legs. And so that's our choice. Clean the bottom first so that it again we've got another sword kind of handle, sorry, the scabbard with no sword in, but we're giving it to a model that's holding a spear. What we might do, depending on how many we have left over at the end, is using the kind of the sword and the daggers. We can cut the handle off of them, like cut the dagger blade away and just glue the handle on there and say it's a sword handle. And we do the same with the sword handle. Hilt. Great. Or I can probably kit bash something. Go through my bits box and find all of the short pointy things. I think we can go pretty much straight and rather than twisted for the torso on this one, just because of how the pose is going to turn out. Yeah, that's all right, just like that. Nice. So we still need a head. heads on this sprue, but that's okay. Give me a helmet. I mean, those two heads are kind of the same, but this other one without the helmet kind of fits as well. I was going to say I'll ask the chat, but there doesn't seem to be anyone there. I'll answer it myself then. Shame I don't know about the kind of the engineering and history behind these helmets, because they've got this kind of almost like a baseball cap flap or peak, but it's out the back of the head, protecting the neck, which is interesting. And I guess quite useful. Yeah. Oh, old line on the leg. Completely missed that one. I must not have even... Did I rush through the leg? Firstly, I forgot if I cut this one off. Then I didn't do the mold line. Go with the rest of them, and we can work on the next one. What shall we do next? Nothing's particularly immediately jumping out at me. Actually, I've just seen we've got these severed heads hanging around at the bottom of the sprue here. Maybe I could have one. Which body did I see? Kind of that one. Having them hold it. Yeah, that seems suitably gruesome. Let's give that a go. kind of mostly able to just run over the top and let the knife fall into the folds. This kind of reduces them a little, but it's not too big a deal. So what have we got? Tunic, so we need legs to go with the tunic. We've got that kind of standing around one. Yeah, maybe. These two are both leaning forwards, I think. And that one's leaning forwards as well. We'll go for the kind of aggressively squatting rather than walking forwards. Base, make sure it sits flat. It does. Difficult to reach mold lines in the folds. And on this side, kind of out in the open, nice and easy. Yeah, that's good. The belt of this one doesn't quite want to line up. I think there's enough contact there for the poly cement to hold, so we shouldn't have to worry. But I might just have to check it. And now for the head, or heads, we need two heads. See, in this case, the mold line is running immediately directly down the hair, so I'm actually going to leave that alone. Just clean up the chin, that, yeah, just that, and that. Because that vertical line sprue mold line. Yeah, it works as hair detail. Now this I would want to sit relatively vertical, so I'm just going to position it like that. And leave that for a moment to evaporate. And we shall take the other helmet. Leaving the sprue with just the one head left. It almost looks like they've got the same moustache. I was like, no, you can't have the same moustache as me. Well, what is it? Harper State. We've had a decent run. We don't seem to be getting many people in the chat. There's not a single comment. I did set the stream to live, did I? Yeah, seems so. Well, anyway. I'll finish off the stream here, but let's have the quick close-up look. Oh no. Will it reconnect? It will. Okay. Have to be careful with the cable because it's loose. Here we go. These are the models, including the two from a few weeks ago. We now have 8, so I've done 6 today, which is not bad for an hour and a half. And I have another 15 to go, something like that. What have I got? Ah, yeah, I've got an entire untouched sprue of 10. And then there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more on, so I've got 16 more to go. Plenty. And so what I shall do is tuck these back into the box, and I shall do a few more probably next week. And for anyone who is watching, I have a video out on the weekend, which will be the Vergast Axe Rake from the Gaunt's Ghost series of books, working out what it should look like and 3D modelling one, printing it out and making a model carrying an axe rake. It's something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time, And it's kind of one of those things where once you've got everything lined up, you can just sort of get it done. But it's getting to the point where everything's lined up that was quite difficult. But I think it came out quite well. In fact, what I will do is give you all a sneaky peek, because the model is done. And so here is Gold Kalia with the axe rake. It's kind of a pickaxe head and a really hefty 3-pronged rake for moving kind of gravel and rocks around. But yeah, the video on the axe rake and this model will be out on probably Saturday as normal. But thank you everyone who did pop past and watched along in silence. That's okay. I shall stream again next week, where we shall do some more of the Celts, and then after that we shall see kind of what interests me and so on and so forth. But for now, I'm ED-SKaR, always will be, and thank you very much for watching.